Hello, everybody. This is Genghis Khan School College Institute Academy, and today we're going to be talking about Newton's three laws of motion. Um, to start off, we're going to be talking about inertia. If you see this over here for the remainder of the video, this is just a nice little thing to remind me of what we're doing in case I, for some reason, forget. But I have in the past, and I don't want to do it again. But yeah, we're going to start off by doing inertia. Now, inertia is the rule that anything that is in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force, and anything that is not in motion will remain motionless unless acted on by an unbalanced force. Which means that if I were to throw a pin in space, or instead of a pen, let's say I throw you into space, and you're very sad about it. I just threw you into space, and I threw you in this direction, out of the rocket ship. I'll just make a rocket ship like this. I threw you out of the rocket ship. I threw you in this direction. You're going to keep going in this direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. And maybe that unbalanced force might not even stop you. It can also just change your direction, like make you go this way instead. But you're not going to change directions or stop unless you get acted upon by an unbalanced force. Or we can do the reverse. So let's say that you put a TV somewhere. A TV. Now, it's not going to move because it's motionless for the time being. It's not going to move until something happens. For example, it's not going to move until I throw a hammer at it. Once I throw a hammer at your, I'll just do a sledgehammer type thing. Once I throw a hammer at it, it will probably fall over. But until that happens, it's going to remain completely motionless. Because an unbalanced force hasn't happened. An unbalanced force can be gravity. It can be as simple as something like shaking. It can be literally anything that is obviously an unbalanced force. So that's the first law of inertia. The first law of Newton. Newton discovered it. Sir Isaac Newton discovered these things in nature, and he called them the three laws of motion. The first one is inertia. We just gave an example of that, so we are going to move on to the next one, which is force equals mass times acceleration. And what that means is the force, or what the unit that we usually use is newtons. Force, or newtons, equals the amount of mass behind what's making the force. All the force comes from the mass times the acceleration. So let's say that you have a car, right? In this car, it's not a humongous car. It's not an extremely heavy car, but it's a good like 2-3 tons, right? Let's say 3 tons. 3 tons. Now it's speeding at about 90 miles an hour. 90 miles per hour. That means if you multiplied these, you'd get like what, 270. You get 270. You probably have to put it into something not tons, or maybe something not miles per hour, but you'd get 270, like something. You get 270 something. You'd get a lot of force. There's a lot of force behind that. But let's say that you got a big truck. You've got like a humongous truck, right? Now this is a big truck. Now he weighs a whopping 27 tons. And he's only going Let me choose a better color than that. He's only going 10 miles an hour. So not very fast, but he's humongous. This is the biggest truck you've ever seen. So, as force equals mass times acceleration, as is shown right over here, you're going to want to multiply these. 27 times 10, we can easily do that. That equals, I didn't mean to zoom out there. That equals 270 miles per hour. No, not miles per hour. What am I thinking? It equals 270 whatever tons times miles per hour is, which is the same as here. Now they are different speeds and different weights, but they are applying the same amount of force as whatever's in front of it. In this case, the thing that's in front of them is whoever I don't like. And now there's a lot of blood everywhere. Blood goes everywhere, and everyone in their path dies. But thankfully, we've got the cleaning crew, so we clean that up nicely. And now we move on to Newton's third law of motion. Now this is every action has an equal but opposite reaction. So that means that for every action in existence, there's an equal but opposite reaction. So, for instance, let's say that you push down on the ground like we all do. You push down on the ground with, let's just take a random weight, flip of the coin. America's morbidly obese, so we're going 1,000 lbs. So we're pressing down on the ground with 1,000 miles, or not miles, Jeebus. We're pushing down with 1,000 pounds of force onto the ground. That's ground. We're pushing that on the ground. Now, the ground is going to push up on us with the exact same force, if possible. Which, I mean, it's the ground, so this is possible. But let's say that you're on a table with that kind of force. Now it can hold a certain amount, but eventually, like if you're going on like a skinny table, I don't know why that's happening. If you're going on like a skinny table and you weigh 1,000 pounds, you go onto that table, the table falls apart. But then, you know what holds you up? Whatever's below that. Whatever below that holds you up. So it's an equal but opposite reaction. Because it's pushing up while you're pushing down. It's important to know that that's what I mean by opposite, but equal. It's pushing 1,000 pounds of force up on you. You're pushing 1,000 pounds of force down upon it. So it cancels it out and you stand up. So let's say that you're a little bit less morbidly obese and you only weigh, I mean, still pretty bad, maybe lose some weight. I'm not going to fat shame or anything, but we all need to work out sometimes. Let's say you're 300 pounds. You weigh 300 pounds and you are standing on, what's a good example? You're standing on a chair. Now, certain chairs are going to be able to hold you, certain ones aren't, so, it's just whatever. Let's hope that this is one, and eeny, meeny, miny, moe, yes it is. This chair can hold you. It is displaying a force of 300 pounds upon you. You're displaying an amount of 300 pounds of force upon it. Just like the floor, except now it's a chair. And then what happens, the main thing about Newton's third law is that it's equal but opposite. Oh, shoot. But if you want to get a little bit more insight information, now the chair is displaying 300 pounds of force upon the floor. So what happens then is it displays the 300 pounds of force. LBS. And then the floor holds up the chair at 300 pounds of force. And that is how Newton's laws work. So now we have to talk about action-reaction pairs, which I guess this ties into it. So I can just give another example of equal but opposite. So what an action pair is, or what or an action-reaction pair is, or a force pair, or whatever you want to call it. Action-reaction pair is that, like I said, every action has an equal opposite reaction. So you're standing up, just you're minding your own business, you're standing up. Say you're displaying 1 Newton of force. The ground is displaying 1 Newton of force upon you. Fairly simple. We've talked about this several times already. I don't think I have to repeat myself. I think you get it by now. But this happens for pretty much, well, I'm not going to say definitely everything because I'm not a scientist. But as far as I'm aware, this happens with everything. So, let's say there's water in a cup. The water weighs like 3 grams. That's not a lot of water, but whatever. It's 3 grams upon the cup. 3 grams. And then the water displays, or the cup displays 3 grams upon whatever it's on. Let's say it's on a table. We've already talked about the table example. The table then displays 3 grams of force upon whatever. But it's important, I didn't mention this in the previous examples, but it's going to add also whatever is, like, it actually weighs. So, like, the cup, let's say that the cup weighs, like, 5 grams. Or, yeah, the cup weighs, like, 5 grams. So, water weighs 3 grams, so that equals 8 grams. And then 8 grams plus whatever the table weighs. Let's say the table weighs 40 grams or whatever. So that's like 48 grams. So the 48 grams is being displayed onto the ground. Then the ground then displays 40 pounds of, that's not the way I wanted that to be, 40 upon it. And then the table displays 8 upon the cup. And then the cup displays 3. Wait, what? Oh, the ground displays 48 upon the table. The table displays 8 above or upon the cup. Cup displays 3 upon the water. Every action has an equal but opposite reaction. Everything. And that's just how it works. Thank you so much for learning. And again, this is the second video I'm recording, so that's why I'm saying again. Thank you to my teacher, Miss Merle, for allowing me to do this kind of stuff. I mean, for like making me do it for a project, but like I was kind of bored anyway, so this is a good excuse to do this kind of thing. So thank you to her and everything. And I really hope I get an A. See ya.